Twins are back at work this afternoon looking for a win against the visiting Boston Red Sox inside Hammond Stadium. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Twins Baseball. I'm Audra Martin. Last Saturday afternoon, the Twins took a 2-0 lead into the third inning against the Boston Red Sox, and then Mother Nature got involved, putting an early end to the afternoon. Today, these two go head-to-head, hopefully with Mother Nature on their side. And in case you need to get caught up on the Boston Red Sox, it was a pretty busy offseason for the club. They picked up outfielder Hunter Renfroe during free agency, along with a pair of utility men in Enrique Hernandez and our old friend Marwin Gonzalez. The former Twin can do it all. The Twins are hoping he'll stay quiet as these two meet yet again in the Sunshine State. Stay with us. We turn things over to Corey Provis and Dan Gladden for a look at your starting lineups and your first pitch from Florida.
Good try, Noah.
Well, welcome back to Hammond Stadium. Here's this afternoon's starting lineups for Alex Cora. Boston Red Sox. Red Sox coming in with a record of 4-5 right now. It'll be Kiki Hernandez leading off. He'll be in center field. Batting second and playing second base, Marwin Gonzalez. J.D. Martinez will DH. He's going to bat third. Batting fourth for the Red Sox at third base, it'll be Rafael Devers. Christian Arroyo will be at shortstop. He's going to bat fifth. At first base, batting sixth, it'll be Michael Chavis. Catching, batting seventh, it'll be Kevin Plawecki. Michael Geddes will be in right field. He's going to bat eighth. Marcus Wilson will bat ninth and play left field. Pitching here this afternoon will be the left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez. Did not pitch last year, but was a 19-game winner in 2019. Here's the starting lineup for your Minnesota Twins, 5-4. Riding a little 3-game winning streak right now. Leading off and playing center field will be Max Kepler. Josh Donaldson in the lineup at third base. He's going to bat second. Batting third, the DH. It'll be Nelson Cruz. Jorge Polanco bats fourth. He's going to be at second base. Mitch Garver gets the duties behind the plate. Going to bat fifth. Alex Kirilloff. He'll be at first base. He's going to bat sixth. In left field, batting seventh, it'll be Brent Rooker. Keon Broxton will be in right field. He's going to bat eighth, and at shortstop, batting ninth, it'll be J.T. Riddle. Pitching here this afternoon, his second appearance, Grapefruit League action, will be the right-hander Matt Shoemaker. Again for your Twins, Kepler, Donaldson, Cruz, Polanco, Garver, Kirilloff, Rooker, Broxton, and Riddle. Umpires for this afternoon's contest, Sam Holbrook calling balls and strikes. It'll be Field and Colbreth at first base. So you trim down Brian Honora at second base, and Junior Valentin will be the umpire at third base. Ready to go? Here's my partner. Here's Corey Provis.
Hi, Danny. Thank you very much. A lovely day here in Fort Myers, and we thank you for joining us throughout the Treasure Island Baseball Network on radio.com, and of course watching today on Fox Sports North. 79 degrees, breezy day, but some sunshine here in Fort Myers. Matt Shoemaker with a black beard and a great number 32 on the mound. His first pitch to the former Dodger. Kike Hernandez is taken down low, and that is ball one with that underway. Looks good in 32.
Yeah, you say all the athletes have to wear that number. It's one of the most popular numbers, especially in Twins history.
Yeah, the 1-0 pitch, a swing and a foul back. Good rip that time from the former Dodger, world champion, number 5, Kike Hernandez, signed a 2-year deal. Guy that has nearly 60 games of postseason experience. Hernandez can bounce around infield, even some outfield and center field today. And the 1-1 swing and a miss off speed. And there's his go-to pitch, Danny. That split-fingered fastball that Shoemaker has is his number 1 weapon.
Yeah, and that's a pitch that he kind of could command a little bit, and it looks like it's a strike. Going to dip down, so see if he doubles up with it here with Garver.
Righty to righty. Garver sets up, down and away. The 1-2 is buried down low. Not chased that time at 86 miles an hour, 2-2.
You know, we talked to Garver earlier a couple games back, and he was still trying to get comfortable with all the pitchers in camp, especially the new guys, and not knowing certain situations what they want to throw.
2-2 pitch. He got jammed out in front of home plate on the ground. Played by Garver. No mask. He picks it up and fires his seed up the first base line, retiring Hernandez. for out number 1. Shoemaker jamming Hernandez, so 1 away. That'll bring out former Twin good buddy Marwin Gonzalez. Signed a 1-year contract after a 2-year run with the Twins. You know, Marwin, looking back at his 2 seasons with the Twins, the defense was fine, but the offense just never really lived up to what the Twins were hoping for. He combined his 2 years with the Twins, he only hit around .240 and slugged only .387. And the pitch is a strike called at 90.
Yeah, I don't think you can question anything about his defense, and no matter where he plays, he's a well above average defender anywhere, outfield and in the infield. But his bat.
And the 0-1 is ripped to right field and deep, and Broxton will turn at the wall. That one's gone. So Gonzalez homers out to right, his first of the spring, and against his former team, the Red Sox have a 1-0 lead. Now, the left-handed swing, we heard Marwin talk about this quite a bit last year. Changed up his stance from the left side for the first time in years. It was advice he was getting from his dad to kind of change things up from the left side, and worked out well there.
Yeah, that like something off speed there, but it stayed up in the zone. And time you start talking about somebody's bat not performing well last year, they step up and do something like that.
Marwin hit 5 in 53 games a year ago, his first of the spring. Red Sox lead 1-0, and now J.D. Martinez DHing as he swings and misses late on a fastball at 92, and it's an 0-1 count. J.D. Martinez now 33 years old. He signed through the 2022 season, coming off a down year. As he chops one to short, here comes J.T. Riddle fielding near his left cleat. He throws out Martinez, and there are 2 down. So some names remain from some dominant Red Sox seasons. Martinez is one of them, as is this guy, Rafael Devers. But where Boston is entirely new, Danny, is with the outfield. Benintendi now with the Royals, Jackie Bradley Jr. now with Milwaukee, and of course Mookie Betts with the Dodgers.
And they've got some talent out there that going to get some opportunities and get out there and play. We saw Hernandez a couple games here played shortstop. He's one of those, like Marwin, a super utility player. But I think Xander Bogaerts and this guy here, Devers, they're going to be the main left side of this Boston infield. And
Bogaerts right now is out with a sore shoulder. Boston doesn't believe it'll be too long until Bogaerts is back playing, but remains sidelined. 0-1 count to Devers as he pops it up. Playable infield left side. Donaldson, Riddle in. Donaldson on the grass off the line at third. He's got it beneath his left shoulder. We're out number 3. Red Sox get 1 and a homer from Marwin Gonzalez. And after 1/2 in Fort Myers, Boston 1, Twins nothing on your home for Twins baseball. Red Sox 1, Twins batting for the first time today. Kepler, Donaldson, and Cruz. Left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound for the Red Sox. Likely will be Boston's opening day starter. And great to see this guy back, 27 years old, out all of last year due to COVID-19. And really a heart condition that came with that diagnosis. Kepler to center field, deep but playable for Kike Hernandez, who makes the catch, and that's out number 1. Good looking swing there from Kepler, and like many, we'll talk about this as we move along. Kepler's numbers against left-handed pitching were just terrible last year, and he wasn't alone. The Twins had statistically just a real rough go against left-handed pitching. Now this guy batting now, not being in the lineup as much as we all hoped, was a big part of that. But the Twins as a team slugged only .349. Keep in mind, league average about .418, .420. And the Twins against left-handed pitching were .349. That was 28th, Danny, near the bottom all of baseball last year.
Well, you mentioned this guy being out of the lineup. I think he complements a lot of the guys around it. So keep him healthy.
Donaldson a home run so far in camp. Takes a fastball strike at 91 from Rodriguez.
It seems like he hasn't made any soft outs. Remember the other night he hit a couple balls hard into the wind. Had a base hit the other day to right field.
And the pitch smacked to left field. A line drive base hit for Donaldson. Good looking swing. He looks ready. That was 87 coming in, a lot more than that going out. A one-out base hit. And Donaldson now 3 for 5 here in camp. Bringing up Nelson Cruz, who, unlike his teammates, he had no trouble against left-handed pitching last season. Batting average, slugging, OPS, all were ridiculously high. So Nelson was able to pounce on lefties, but as a team, the Twins just did not do it. Cruz 2 for 8 in the Grapefruit League with a homer, 3 knocked in. He'll turn 41 on July 1. 1-0 Red Sox, bottom of the first inning. 1 on, 1 out, and the pitch is a strike called. 86 coming back inside from Rodriguez, a four-seamer, change, cutter, sink, and a rare curveball is what Rodriguez features. Made 34 starts in 2019, had a really good year. Went 19-6 ERA in the high 3s. And the 0-1, a ground ball to third. Devers on the charge. He'll scoop. He'll go second for 1. The return is in time from Gonzalez. That's a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play. Twins don't score, get a hit, leave none. We'll hear from GM Thad Levine next. We go to the second. 1-0 Red Sox on your home for Twins baseball. 1-0 Red Sox after 1, an 11-pitch first inning for Matt Shoemaker as Christian Arroyo leads off for the Red Sox. Yeah, that's out of options here in camp, and shortstop today, former first-round pick by the Giants in 2013. Bats right-handed. Shoemaker from the windup, and his next pitch is down low. A backhand stop there from Garver on a fastball. 2 balls and no strikes. As promised, we are pleased to be joined by the general manager of the Minnesota Twins. Always great to catch up with Thad Levine. Thad, how are you? Thanks for your time.
I'm doing awesome, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Ground ball up the middle, and that is going to be past a sliding Polanco into center field. So 2-hopper right up the middle, and Arroyo has a leadoff single to start the Red Sox second inning. Well, Thad, a lot to get to today. Let's begin, if we can, first with the guy on the mound for the Twins and Matt Shoemaker. You know, you're well aware of the numbers and the injury history that Matt has had. The last 4 years combined, only 32 starts. But what gave you confidence that Matt is healthy and ready to pitch and compete here in 2021?
You know, I just want to give credit where it's due. I feel as if our analysts and our scouts on the pitching side have just done such a phenomenal job over the years in identifying, quite frankly, players just like Matt Shoemaker. So I don't know if you need a second to explain that.
So let's see. The ball was in play, but I think they're going to call interference. So he stepped on. There was contact with the ball made by the batter, Michael Chavis, as he rolled one out in front of home plate. Garver picked it up and threw to second base, but they're going to say that the batter, Chavis, is out. As we look at the replay here, ball's fair out in front of home plate, and as he left the batter's box, maybe his left foot, Danny, got a piece of that baseball.
Yeah, he stepped on it. He's going to be out. Runner's going to have to go back to first base.
Yeah, so Corey, on Shoemaker, I think our analysts really liked his pitches, and I think where he's really fallen short over the last few years is his seasons have been cut short by injuries, and our assessment of the injuries were they weren't really too damning to his pitching. They were very kind of atypical injuries, but it wasn't a lot of damage to his arm or his core. And so I think we were optimistic that if we could stretch him out from a quantity standpoint, that the quality was there. And I think we've seen a taste of that in the spring so far. He's got swing and miss stuff. And when you look at the caliber of offensive teams that he faced last year, there's a lot of games against the Yankees, the Rays, and the Atlanta Braves. So I think the stat line that he had, the raw stat line, I think we looked at it through a little bit of a different lens based upon the caliber of offensive players that he was facing last year.
1-0 Red Sox in the second, 1 on, 1 out. Kevin Plawecki, the catcher, is the hitter. As Shoemaker deals a strike, 81 off speed to get even here. You know, I think about something you told me, and Martin Perez rather is with the Red Sox. But now, when you sign Martin, before you even signed him a couple of seasons back, pickoff play, and they got him at first base. A quick strike from Shoemaker to Kirilloff, who got the glove down quickly and hard on Arroyo. So Shoemaker with a quick move over to first base. And that throw was right at the right knee of Kirilloff and got the glove down, and Arroyo was out by plenty. Good work there from the Twins, so 2 down. But to finish up that thought, Thad, you told me that before you signed that deal with Martin Perez. We said we have to approach him with what we want to do with him. We're not just going to sign him and then say, okay, here's our plan. Ground ball right side, Polanco to his left. He'll field, and he throws out the runner. Man, that never happened to Vince Scully, right? Get into a story, and the inning would go on for a long time. I promise we'll wrap it up when we come back about why he wanted to go after Shoemaker. So the Red Sox don't score. They get a hit lead, none. Twins coming up bottom 2, trailing 1-0 on your home for Twins baseball. 1-0 Red Sox bottom 2. Warm up on the warm beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. Unplug, relax, and find your island. To plan your safe trip, go to FortMyersSanibel.com. Polanco leads off against Rodriguez here in the home second. The Twins down 1-0. Thad Levine continues to join us from his beautiful perch on the third floor here at the Hammond Stadium complex. I was going to say, before that quick end to the top half of the inning, with Martin, you said, okay, before we sign you, here's what we'd like you to do. As Polanco checks off speed, and he went around. It'll cost him a strike. Comparably with Matt Shoemaker, before we come to an agreement, here's what we're thinking. Are you okay going down this path before we ink you to a deal?
You know, Corey, we've been consistent in all of our recruits of certainly of the pitchers that we've recruited over the last handful of seasons, that it has to be a partnership. And so we start the conversation with the agent. We gauge whether there's mutual interest. We understand if we're willing to play in the parameters in which they're pursuing. But once we do that, and really before we finalize any deal, we try to get that pitcher on the phone with some combination of Wes Johnson and Rocco Baldelli, just to discuss what we would intend to do with them and how we would try to maximize their ability. If they feel like that message resonates with them, we then get back on the phone with the agent and try to close the deal. If we don't, if it doesn't, we totally respect that. Each player's at a different point in their careers. But by and large, we found how receptive players are. Matt was no different. He actually started that dialogue with us. He sought it out with Wes. He had heard so many positive things about him. And it was really fun to sit back and listen to those two guys talk about pitching for quite some time.
Polanco takes inside. Now a 3-2 count. 1-0 Red Sox bottom 2. Danny, go ahead.
You know, Thad, I wanted to ask you, you're talking about Shoemaker here, but also Robles, Colome, Jay Happ all brought in, and you talked about the core as Polanco swings at one of the dirt and heads back. But you talked about the analytics. Is it all the same for every player, the analytics? Okay, they have to match up here, and then we approach them, or is everybody a little bit different in the analytics that you study per player?
Well, without question, Danny, I think you nailed it. I think everybody has their own narrative, and I think that is probably as big of a strength as Wes Johnson is, as any that he has, which is his ability to truly present a game plan to a wealth of different types of pitchers. And quite frankly, when the first pass of that doesn't resonate, he has the ability to go back and express it in a little bit of a different way. So each of those guys has their own narratives. I would say the one common theme that we found in our pursuit of all four was a desire to hear what we had to say and just incorporate it into their game plans. And I think where Wes has found the greatest sense of success is when that's a joint effort and when the player and the staff co-author those. We don't dictate to anybody. We sit them down and we show them all the information, and then we ask them to partner with us in really putting together a game plan with the catcher.
Mitch Garver, their hitter. It's a 1-1 count. Bottom 2, bases empty, 1 out. Red Sox lead 1-0. Rodriguez to Garver, and the pitch is a strike 2 taken at 84 off speed from Rodriguez. Garver looks good. That so far, even some of his outs have been hard hit.
You know, he had such an extremely good 2019. And in my opinion, I think that started with the investment he made in that previous offseason to his catching. I think he really gained a tremendous amount of confidence in his catching that allowed him to really have peace of mind when he was hitting and just be the best version of himself. He was always a plus offensive prospect for this franchise when he was coming up. I think once he was able to also feel like he was contributing meaningfully behind the plate, it really allowed him to focus on his upside offensively.
As he strikes out swinging here, 86 off-speed pitch, fooling Garver there. So back-to-back strikeouts from Rodriguez.
By the way, I need a ruling from Danny on how long do I have to stay on to get full SAG credit for this showing. I feel like I'm cutting this one a little close.
We might have to keep it because there is a lot to get to. And let's begin to not begin, but continue the conversation. Byron Buxton hasn't played much this week. How come, Thad?
Well, Byron has a little bit of a tooth issue he's dealing with. He had to go see the dentist. These are real-life problems that everyone can relate to.
Kirilloff high and deep to center field. This one on the track at the wall. That's gone, a home run. Kirilloff to dead center field off a very good lefty. So a lefty-lefty matchup, and Kirilloff goes to dead center. And this game is even 1-1.
So Buck should be back on the fielder soon, and he will be totally fine, but he just had to take care of a little bit of a dental issue.
You know, Thad, you see the bat right there by Kirilloff, a lefty matchup there. Don't you want to see those kind of at bats at Kirilloff where he's at against a quality pitcher like Rodriguez?
Yeah, and I think I heard you guys talking about this in one of the previous games, just kind of making a correlation to when Kepler came up, and that maybe he didn't get a chance to face as many lefties right out of the chute. And just, Danny, you can speak to this a heck of a lot better than I can, but just the ability to come up in the big leagues and to see both lefties and righties, I imagine is actually putting the hitter in a better position for long-term success. Sometimes we try to protect them at the outset and make sure they gain some momentum, but I think sometimes that can get in players' heads that you don't have faith in their ability to hit left on left. I think what we've seen in spring training now, we're not going to match up in spring training, but certainly Kirilloff has had an opportunity to face some of the best lefties. Eduardo Rodriguez is an example of that, and I'm sure you guys have already commented on this. Like, what a great thing to see Eduardo Rodriguez back on the hill. As competitive as we all are in this game, you always want the best to continue to be able to perform, and the fact that he had to miss last season was such a significant health concern. Is great to see him towing the rubber again.
1-2 to Brent Rooker. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 on a buried pitch in the zone. So Rooker strikes out. Rodriguez strikes out 3, but the Twins get on the board on Kirilloff's first homer of the spring. Thad, that went too quickly, but thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
We thank Thad Levine for joining us in the second after 2, all tied 1-1 on your home for Twins baseball. After 2, all tied 1-1, this portion of Twins baseball is brought to you by your select Heartland Chevy dealers. Log on to ChevyDealOnline.com to find a dealer near you. The third is on, so is Dan Gladden.
Thank you, Corey. A little tapper foul behind home plate to get us playing right field here this afternoon. Count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Red Sox and the Minnesota Twins. And the schedule when it came out had us kind of going up and down Highway 75 playing different teams. That one's popped up right side. Kirilloff now in foul territory near the dugout, has room and reaches in and makes the catch. Good job there, Kirilloff, in that finding the wall first and then kind of getting there and then work off of that. Nice play there by Kirilloff defensively, and already hit the ball straightaway center field, tied a game up.
As before spring training ended last year, roughly a year ago this time, Justin Morneau was down here, working with the players and had a uniform on and everything. And this was obviously heavy discussion about Miguel Sano moving to first base. But Morneau said, let me tell you something. Sano's been working hard, doing everything we're asking. But Kirilloff at first base, it just looks natural. That's what Morneau kept saying. And Alex played first base in high school. But we've seen him in the outfield and now getting some reps too at first base.
I think when you're an athlete like he is, I think that any position is just fine for him. I truly believe that down the road he's going to be the Twins' first baseman, which is high. And now 1 ball and 1 strike. Number 9 hitter Wilson bats. He's in left field here this afternoon. But Kirilloff is one of those guys. When you're a young player, Corey, I don't care where you play me, just put me in the lineup. And he's at first base right now. And a swing and a miss. Little pitch there. That one 84 off speed. Down and away. And now count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wilson played in Mexicali in just 1 game last year. So far spring training just 3 for 7. And here's the pitch, and missed down and in. There's the splitter. Shoemaker last year with Toronto. And a pitch, ground ball in the hole at short. Going to be backhanded by Riddle. Comes up, not a good throw there, really. Wilson, he runs well and was getting down the line, but a nice play by Riddle just to get to the ball to go as an infield base hit. So Boston has their third hit. Back to the top of the order. Here's Kiki Hernandez.
And Josh Donaldson right now kind of chatting with the Red Sox third base coach and also JT Riddle about, I think, positioning. You know, wondering if he's more towards the hole, if that's a ball that he can get, but protecting the line, had Riddle closer towards the hole, but it looked like the dialogue that Josh was having was about positioning.
Well, that's it. Anytime you bring the shortstop over, and in this case they got Polanco, he's playing more in the hole at short. And that's going to also get Donaldson to slide over a little bit closer to the third base line. Ground ball right up the middle, fielded by Polanco. He'll step on the bag, comes up throwing, and in time to get Kiki Hernandez. This little double play turn. Nice job there by the Twins. We're through 2.5, tied up 1-1. And you're listening to Twins Baseball.
Here on Fox Sports North.
Back here at Hammond Stadium, 1-1 tie. Homer by Marwin Gonzalez. In the top half of the first inning, and then a 2-out solo shot straightaway center field off the bat of Alex Kirilloff. We're 1-1. Bottom of the third, it's going to be Keon Broxton to bat, JT Riddle, and then Max Kepler. Eduardo Rodriguez out on the mound, most likely going to be opening day starter for the Red Sox. Delivers a good fastball in inside corner.
Red Sox won 24 games last year. Offensively, the numbers were fine, but pitching was a major issue. 14th out of 15 teams in the American League in ERA. They used 16 different starting pitchers last year.
Changeup swung on and missed. You know, also, if you look at the Red Sox there, their first 24 ball games, winning percentage, they ranked 14th. Slugging percentage, 9th. And then averaging runs per game, they were 11th. Home runs, 11th. So they weren't doing much offensively. And then the last 36 ball games, they flipped that around. They completely. First in average slugging, OPS, they were averaging almost 5.5 runs a game. And then they, last 36 games, 54 home runs, so they were tied for second.
Yeah, it's a rotation that hopefully will get Chris Sale back on the All-Star break.
0-2, and again fouled off.
Sale coming back from Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, and he should be back. I think they're talking about June, if not then by July. And I'm just curious if he's going to be that same dominating hard thrower, or is he going to kind of ease into it and learn to kind of, can't imagine he's not going to rear back and go. Pitch down and in. And 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Rodriguez at the top of this rotation for now with Nathan Eovaldi behind him. And when Eovaldi is healthy, that blistering fastball, a huge weapon, but only when he's healthy.
And Broxton swings and misses. It's a 4 strikeout for Rodriguez.
It's a changeup at 88. That's been an effective 2-strike pitch against the righties.
Great location on it. And I always talk about arm speed. And almost looks like he's got that circle change, so it comes out on his 3 fingers. Middle finger and the ring finger and then your pinky. But the arm speed is still the same. Riddle pulls this one foul.
Riddle at shortstop today. Still have yet to see Andrelton Simmons in a game, but that could change as early as tomorrow. Simmons perhaps could be in the lineup at short, and we will have that game for you here against the Braves at noon Central Time.
Pitches down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, getting back to Byron Buxton, as Thad Levine said, had a dental procedure back on Monday on the off day. Took BP in the cages earlier today. Will take and see some live batting practice tomorrow.
outside and low.
And hopefully in the lineup Saturday. The Twins will be on the road in Port Charlotte against the Rays and face former Twin lefty Rich Hill on Saturday afternoon.
Riddle and Camp kind of non-roster here as they play some short pitch inside and tight. Riddle last year 23 games with the Pirates, just 1 homer, 1 RBI, only hit 149. Bats here with a 3-1 count and hit into left center field, hit fairly well, and Wilson tracking, he won't get it, and the runner Riddle, he falls down crossing first base, and he'll have to go back to first. He kind of spun out right before he got to the bag and actually kind of landed on first base. Almost like the grass gave out on him as he was making that turn. And then by the time he got back up, ball quickly back into the infield. So one of the longer singles you'll see. It's a double play in order. Here's Kepler. Kepler hit the ball hard his first time up, flew out to center field on the first pitch. Rodriguez out of the stretch. And tap foul at home plate.
There's 3 left-handed batters that have had nice swings off Rodriguez. You mentioned Kepler, Kirilloff the home run, and Riddle now with a single to the alley in left center. And Rodriguez doesn't feature that changeup, Danny, to lefties as he has been throwing to righties. That's been really good so far today.
You know, I've noticed on the left-handers, and we saw it with Riddle, first pitch swinging against Rodriguez. We saw Kirilloff, who homers straightaway center field, first pitch swinging. We saw it with Kepler, his first at bat, and right here his second at bat. So there might be something there about, in a scouting report, about Rodriguez throwing first pitch strikes to left-handers and first pitch fastball. No balls and a strike. Here we go. And that ball's hit well to right field. Right fielder get us back to the wall. He has room as Riddle have to jog back to first base. I thought when I left his bat, the Kepler hit that one pretty good. Hey, not-for-profit organizations, they can raise funds for your group just by attending the Twins ball game as the team plans for the safe return of fans to the ballpark. Contact the Twins to learn how organizations have used a Target Field group event to raise money for their 501c3 organizations. It's easy and it's fun. Text Twins to 20123 for more information. Getting back to the ballpark, Corey. Exciting. It's been exciting here. As Donaldson, first pitch swinging, fouls it straight back.
And that swing there from Donaldson, he was locked in, was sitting on a certain pitch in a certain spot, and he had one to his liking and just got under it a bit.
Jumped on that first strike that he saw for a base hit his last time up. 2-down runner at first, 1-1 tie. And boy, missed outside. Didn't miss by much. Something about Rodriguez, he's got good velocity, good changeup, but he can move it in and out. And doesn't throw much up in the zone. But just a good fastball, good changeup, occasional slider, and a pitch. Ground ball, shortstop. Hill underhand flip to the second baseman Gonzalez and force out the runner at second. Twins get one hit, leave one. Through 3 here at Hammond Stadium, tied up 1-1 on your home for Twins baseball. One tie as J.D. Martinez in the on-deck circle for Boston. Marwin Gonzalez. He'll bat. Homered his first time up. He's in the box. He was showing bunt to Josh Donaldson, who's at the shortstop position. And a pitch on the inside corner for a strike. You don't see that. Probably not going to see it in spring training, but I think that you're going to see some teams more and more start to bunt a little bit, especially against the shift like that. And a pitch inside that hit him. So came in on him, and Barwin will reach. And here's J.D. Martinez. Part of the offense for Boston is this guy right here. Martinez, somewhat of a down year last year, 7 home runs, 27 driven in, but just a couple of RBIs so far here in Grapefruit League action so far. Garver with the sign to Shoemaker, and comes set, checks the runner at first, and a pitch. And that's in there for a strike, taken all the way. We were talking about Boston's offense and the lack of it, at least the first few ball games, first 24 games. They turned it up a little bit last 36 ball games, but by then a little bit late and missed inside off speed. Ended up with a 24-36 record. A lot of people aren't talking too much about the Red Sox, but with the Rays going to the World Series last year, the Yankees, of course, always considered. And here's the pitch. Tap foul. I think the big buzz right now in the division, American League East, you're looking at the Toronto Blue Jays as a team that really has kind of added some pieces, but they've got some very young players. Question is, are they going to have a home ballpark? They are not playing scheduled right now to play at their home park, Rogers Center in Toronto. 1 ball, 2 strikes. J.D. Martinez bats. Garver wants it up, and the pitch is up, and it's lifted into center field. Broxton right there. Broxton one-hands it, puts that one away. The pitch there got in on him. And, of course, Tampa, they're going to find a way to be competitive. They always are. And the Yankees, of course, with Stanton healthy, Judge healthy, they're going to be okay.
Red Sox will be visiting Target Field on the first homestand of the season. That's a 4-game series, Monday through Thursday, April 12th through the 15th.
Here's Devers to bat, and he takes this one over the plate low. And I believe those games have all been changed to
all-day games.
All-day games.
All-day games.
I think they're all 3 1:00 games, and then maybe getaway day would be that 12 o'clock start.
Then the Twins head west. So a 12 o'clock start that Thursday before the Twins then head to Anaheim and Oakland.
Well, I don't recall ever going out there that early in the season. Gonzalez at first, and a pitch. Devers takes it up and away. 2 balls and no strikes. You know, reading a little bit about Joey Cora, out last year, suspended, and then back as the manager this year. I'm sorry, Alex. He had contacted a lot of the players and asked them to work on a little bit of speed when they came into camp, and he feels that some of these guys should run a little bit more. And a big swing and a miss. Devers chased that one up and away. That was ball 3, but very aggressive. So I think Alex Cora, Boston Red Sox, certain guys that might run a little bit more. Twins double play depth, playing straight up right now. Righty sets, and the pitch swung on a miss. Good pitch. Went off speed, and the big swing by Devers. He dropped down to one knee. Well, you swing hard like that and fall down. I remember there was a time that if you took a big swing, your helmet came off. You'd be on your back the next pitch. So count of 2-2, 1 out. And here's the pitch. Strike 3 right down Broadway. Pitch right there. Looked like it was going to be inside, kind of tailed back over the plate.
Exactly right, Danny. Two-seamer that Devers kind of gave up on, thought it was going to stay in, and kept on working back towards the plate.
First strikeout for Shoemaker. That's a veteran right there, setting up a veteran hitter. And that is such an effective pitch when you got movement like that to set him up inside. Like you said, it looks like it's going to be inside and then give up on it. Here's Arroyo to bat and pulls this one foul.
Shoemaker now 39 pitches in. Lefty Devin Smeltzer is warming up in the bullpen. Hansel Robles, Ian Hamilton, and Jordan Balazovic also on the pitching roster today.
And we were scheduled for 7, and I believe it's going to be 8 innings here this afternoon. Gonzalez still at first base, 2 down. 1-1 tie. Arroyo played with Cleveland a little bit last year and Boston. Fouled into the netting. Started shortstop. $15 games combined last year at the major league level. He hit 3 home runs, drove in 8. He was picked off after leading off the top of the second. Bats here. And nice block, delayed steal by Gonzalez, and he's going to be safe at second base. I was talking about Alex Cora and some of the guys running a little bit quicker.
It looked like Garver, too, had his head down, was looking down at the ball in his glove.
Yeah, I think he had to go down and block it. And doing so, that's maybe what Marwin saw and anticipated the ball in the dirt. But Garver went down in that block position, and that's when Marwin took off, and he'll get credited with a stolen base. So 1-1 tie with 2 down runner in scoring position. And a pitch. A check swing. He didn't go around.
Arroyo, as I mentioned earlier, first-round pick by the Giants in 13. Among the key young players that went to the Rays for Evan Longoria back in 2017. Was with Cleveland a bit in 2019. And then a waiver claim by the Red Sox August of last year.
He bats with the go-ahead run at second base. Outfield shortened up a little bit. Shoemaker. Long pause. He'll check the runner at second and now delivers. Ground ball over the pitcher's mound. Fielded by Riddle on the run. Comes up and retires. Arroyo. Nice job there by Matt Shoemaker. Strand 1. We're going to the bottom of the 4th inning. Going to be Cruz, Polanco, Garver. Tied up 1-1 on your home for Twins baseball. Nelson Cruz will lead off for the Twins. Gorgeous afternoon here. Fans enjoying the sunshine. Make sure you get your sunscreen on. As Nelly hit into a 5-4-3 double play his first time up. And fouls that one straight back. Jumped on that first pitch. Nelson is homered. 3 RBIs so far. Grapefruit League action. Just his 4th ball game. And right back lefty delivers and again fouled back. And right after him. And 39 pitches for Rodriguez. Nobody warming up in the Boston bullpen. So Rodriguez most likely stretched out 4 innings. Roughly 50 pitches. And the pitch, it's strike 3 on the inside corner. Nelson Cruz going to moonwalk back out of the batter's box and have a discussion with the home plate umpire, but it was tight. It's the 5th strikeout for Rodriguez. I give credit to the catcher there, Plawicki, and that framed that pretty good. Here's Polanco to bat. He went down swinging his first time up and missed down and in. Ball 1. See Polanco in the lineup a lot in that 4 slot, but I don't think that right now you can say that this is where these guys might hit during the season. And Polanco ground ball. That's a base hit right field. A second baseman who's playing him more up the middle. A one-out single for Jorge, and now here's Mitch Garver to back.
Oh, Danny.
Struck out swinging his first time up.
Sorry, Danny. Something I want to ask Polanco at some point here. If he ever thought last season as 2020 was going along and you could see it was clear how painful the left-handed swing was, yet the right-handed swing was fine statistically and it looked clean. If you ever thought about just abandoning switch hitting just for the season last year to avoid any kind of added strain on the ankle?
No, I don't think that even crossed his mind, or I don't think any coaches even maybe addressed it to him as Garver takes it in there for a strike. You know, the ankle, especially, it was his right ankle. That's his front ankle where, you know, you're going to torque and turn on that a lot. And that's where, you know, you can tape it up. But at some point, it didn't hurt him all the time. It was just occasionally when he would make maybe an awkward swing is when you could see just by a swing that he had to rip and get off it, and it bothered him. Quick throw over as Polanco dives back. I want to say it was Adrianza that had a bad shoulder, and he elected to only hit either it was left-handed or right-handed because the swing hurt his shoulder.
And then there was that odd time years ago where Aaron Hicks thought about abandoning switch hitting during the season.
Polanco runs, and it's a pulled foul.
And that was news to Tom Bernansky, was the hitting coach then, and that was an odd kind of time.
Well, that's when he went down to the minors, right? He went down to the minors and said he's only going to hit right-handed, and then he flip-flopped on that.
Yeah.
He's turned himself into a pretty good player.
Sure has.
Okay, so he finally got it right, and he signed a nice contract with the Yankees. Most likely going to be the opening day. I saw where he's hitting like in the top of the order in that offense for the Yankees. Polanco was off and running and not going here, and the pitch inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Garver. Watching Polanco run and Garver swinging on that pitch. Not sure. Find out later maybe if we had a hit and run there. Kirilloff due up next. 1-1 tie. Homers Marwin Gonzalez for the Red Sox. Kirilloff for the Twins. Pitch down in. Let's pause 10 seconds. Allow our stations to identify themselves. You're listening to Twins Baseball. Garver bats. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Polanco good lead, and he's picked off. He was off and running, and Rodriguez throw to second, and now he's going to be tagged out by the pitcher covering first base. So Polanco is going to pat Rodriguez on the back. I guess compliment him that he made a nice play on me. And he's going to head back to the dugout. He was leaning toward second base like he wanted to run. And Rodriguez have a little bit of a delayed move over there and picked him off.
2-2 count. You like if Polanco was moving there? No, because 3-2 probably so, but 2-2.
Yeah, you know, if he throws a ball on a 2-2 count, now it's 3-2. Now you're running. And now here's Garver. And a swing and a miss. He strikes out. The Twins get 1 hit, erased on the pickoff through 4 at Hammond Stadium. Good pitching matchup today. We're knotted up 1-1. We'll be back on your home for Twins Baseball. Shoemaker here, 4 innings here this afternoon, gives up 3 hits, 1 run. Came by way of a home run. Didn't walk anybody and just had 1 strikeout. Also hit a batter. But good job for Shoemaker, and that he's lined up to be one of the starters for the Twins. He'll give way to the left-hander Devin Smeltzer, who opened up Grapefruit League action this year with a start. That's twice now in a row, back-to-back seasons to start Grapefruit League action. Smeltzer has opened up action. He'll be facing Chavez here as he bats, and a first pitch in there for a strike. Chavez, he was a #1 prospect Played in 7 ball games now. And right back. And there's a strike. Good pitch there by Smeltzer. Smeltzer is going to play a big part in the Twins, if not the rotation, and still not sure if the Twins are going to go to possibly a 6-man rotation. Missed outside.
And Devin makes his home here in Fort Myers, and because of that, earlier this season, once MLB permitted teams that at least that train in the hometowns where a player may reside, they were allowed to use the facilities here, and Devin was in that group.
And a swing and a miss. Chased outside, but big strikeout right there.
As Fort Myers residents or players that were coming back from an injury that were rehabbing, Polanco and Arise, they also have residences here, but they were in that same group to use the facilities here at the complex.
Plawecki to bat. He's the catcher here this afternoon. And you talk about that, the injuries, yes, they seem to kind of have a green light. Also, it used to be if you come out of an injury, you could show up to spring training early with the pitchers and catchers. And there's a pitch outside, ball 1. Getting back to what you were talking about, Polanco and that ankle, and I think in the offseason they felt, okay, let's slide him over to second base, but now we got to go shop and find that shortstop. And there was a couple out in the market. Ground ball fielded by the shortstop. Comes up throwing in time. Well, I think he doesn't run all that well, but a nice easy play there by the Twins shortstop Riddle. So now it was a matter of, okay, we can find the shortstop. And they got him in Andrelton Simmons, and we might see him tomorrow. But by moving Polanco over to second base, short season last year, I think that Arise was the guy that was pushed out. 2 down, bases empty, and down and in.
And at the time when we learned that, okay, Arise still play some infield, some second, maybe some third, and they were also discussing left field. But as of right now, Arise, he's not doing much of the outfield. It's infield work only for Luis.
Yeah, and I have not seen him work or take any fly balls. He might on the other field, but haven't seen it yet. There's a swing and a miss. He evens it up 1-1. Hey, baseball is for everyone. Twins Community Fund's working to ensure that every kid who wants to play baseball or softball has access to resources they need to play. Learn more and join us at twinscommunityfund.com. And that one's in the dirt. Ball will get thrown out.
Now, speaking of shortstops, this upcoming free agency year after 2021, that will be a banner year of free agent shortstops. At one time, Correa, Lindor, you have Trevor Story with Colorado.
Yeah, they've been hearing rumors that Mets are going to sign Lindor. And a pitch outside. And now that's 3 balls and 1 strike. Isn't it always the case that you get new ownership, and that's the case with the Mets? They kind of open the cash register up. And with the Mets, of course, that high market, they want to win. They're not, you don't hear those teams talk about rebuilding. And that was fisted foul over the netting. And now 3 balls and 2 strikes. You look at the smaller market clubs, and I look at Oakland, and they have a good blueprint to be competitive. That one's tapped foul. And the Twins, they've been very competitive the last couple of years. Had a great season in 19 and then won a division, came down late last year. And the Twins division, it's going to be competitive as well. And a pitch down and in as Devin Smeltzer started to leave the mound thinking he had a strikeout. It's going to be a walk, 2-out walk. And that'll get the left fielder Marcus Wilson to the plate. Looking at Wilson here, he was a number 2 round draft pick by the Arizona Diamondbacks back in 2014. And Smeltzer throws over, and base runner gets back. Smeltzer with the patented old school stirrups. Don't see those too often around Major League Baseball anymore. And a pitch, it's outside. In '87, when I came over, that's all we had with the stirrup socks. And remember, one of the Twins rules was you had to show the M on the sock, and that pitch missed down and in, and Smeltzer having a little trouble with the number 9 hitter here. So you're always supposed to have your pants at a certain length to where it showed, and in this case plenty of socks showing for Smeltzer. And they've got the TC logo. So if you get a strike here, 2 balls and no strikes, 2 down. And missed. Boy, didn't miss by much. So 3 balls, no strikes. Not sure Wilson be hacking here. 3-0. And boy, there's a 4-pitch walk. That's got to be back-to-back walks. And Garver going to take a little slow walk out. Talk to him. Tough when you go ball 1, ball 2, and now that 3rd ball, it's just trying to aim it up there rather than just throw it. So
Ian Hamilton right now, the Twins bullpen, standing up off the bullpen mound, not currently throwing.
Well, this is just Smeltzer's second outing. And normally he went 2 innings his last time out. Not sure if he's just going to go 1. There's a strike. Thanks a lot. Home plate umpire Sam Holbrook. And that's all you need to do is get that 1 strike. Now you get back in line. But Smeltzer, he threw 2 innings a while ago, gave up 1 hit. And 1 hit was a home run. And missed. There's the breaking ball.
Alex Cora has said earlier in camp that the Red Sox right now, they're leaning on breaking camp with 14 pitchers, which would leave them with a 3-man bench. Do the Twins have a similar game plan come opening day?
Fouled off to our right.
Now, in the Twins case, of course, they open in Milwaukee. No DH in National League ballparks, unlike last year. So they'd have a 4-man bench, and Nelson Cruz would be on the bench for that opening series in Milwaukee.
You know, we talked, I think, a little bit earlier about it, that when the Twins went and played Philadelphia one time, that no DH, and Nelson didn't play in the whole series. So I'm not sure if they're going to try to play him at first base. Nelson has been taking ground balls and infield drills at first base. Here's the 1-2, and it's high. Evens it up 2-2 now with 2 on 2 outs.
But if the Twins do go with 14 pitchers instead of 13, now Smeltzer as a long man. Is he there with Lewis Thorpe? Is he there with Randy Dobnak? Is there room for all 3 of those guys if they're going to carry that extra pitcher?
Here's the 2-2. Lined into left center field. That's going to land for a base hit. Runner's being waved around. Throw back in, be cut off by Donaldson. Getty scores with the go-ahead run, 2-1. 2 walks. Smeltzer has kind of cost the Twins here.
Hanging curveball there that Kike Hernandez was ready for. And Getty scores rather easily from second base. So Red Sox capitalizing on the back-to-back 2-out walks. And now have a 1-run lead.
And here comes Marwin Gonzalez. He'll turn around, bat right-handed. Homered his first time up, hit by a pitch. Last time up, dangerous hitter from the right side. Curve in there for a strike. Good pitch there by Smeltzer. Yeah, Marwin was a big piece of the Twins for a couple of years. And that he could play anywhere in the field, but also he came up with some big hits. Going to help out Boston for sure. And a pitch, tap foul. He's in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes.
I think about one of Marwin's memorable at-bats. It came from this side of the plate, the right side. It was in Milwaukee. It was against Josh Hader back in 2019. Turned out to be the game-winning home run. He was sitting on a first-pitch fastball and crushed it to left center field for a game-winning shot against Milwaukee. Back in 2019, he had a big hit against Cleveland opening day in 2019 at his Twins debut.
It seemed like, you know, if he didn't drive in a ton of runs, but the runs he did drive in, very meaningful runs. He's in the hole here, no balls and 2 strikes. Smeltzer delivers and it's hit high in the air left field. Rooker back to the track. He'll look up, gone. So Marwin, a 3-run homer on a no-ball, 2-strike count. So Marwin, first time up, hit it from the left side. This time from the right side.
That ball landed on the berm and right into a fan's gut. Then kind of tumbled down the hill a little bit.
Did he get the ball?
I
think
so.
They gave it to him afterwards.
You know, Gonzalez, he's probably going to be out in left field at opening day. Franchi Cordero, whom the Red Sox got from the Royals in the Benintendi trade, he's been out with COVID.
And here's J.D. Martinez.
And that gentleman does have the ball. And now he's going to hand it to a young fan. Well done, sir. Despite that pain, he's going to walk it off a little bit.
He's trying to tell everybody up there that he used to be an all-star shortstop back in the day. And Smeltzer, curve foul back.
Saw this with 2 outs.
Yeah, 2 outs.
2 walks to the 8-9 batters.
And then to get ahead of Marwin and then tried to sneak the fastball by, I'm not sure. And Marwin, he got it. So 4-run 5th so far. And a swing and a miss as Martinez chases. Damage done. A couple of walks and a 3-run homer. They played it 4 here in the top half of the 5th. New scores: the Red Sox 5, Twins 1. You're listening to Twins Baseball. Well, that's going to be it for the left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez. He goes 4 innings. Didn't walk anybody, and he had 6 strikeouts. He'll give way to our good buddy Matt Barnes, closer for the Boston Red Sox in years past. He'll face Kirilloff. Kirilloff, he homered his first time up against Rodriguez and takes that fastball that's in there for a strike. Kirilloff said Rooker out in left field. I believe it was Maggi.
So Maggi was playing defensively last half inning in left, but Brent Rooker's spot was on deck, is in the on deck area. So Maggi came in for defense, but Rooker's still going to get a chance to bat next.
That's a big hang with him if you're Maggi, right?
Huh. Stay hot.
Yeah. Kirilloff, pretty good power. He's got a sweet swing. Barnes out of the stretch and delivers down and in. Good hard slider, also wearing number 32.
Alex is going to join us once his day is done. Looking forward to chatting with number 19, the first position player to wear 19 since Kenny Vargas. It was worn by Ryan Harper, pitcher, a couple of years ago, but the last position player before Kirilloff, Big Kenny Vargas.
Big Kenny Vargas.
For 76, Alex did in his big league debut in the postseason last year.
You know, maybe, players are kind of superstitious, and as to numbers they would like to wear, but at the same time, you'll probably hear that, as long as I have a number, I'm happy with it. But what did he wear last year?
76.
76. All kicks away in the dirt. Nice take there by Kirilloff. One thing I like about Alex, he's quiet. We've seen where his hands seem to be a lot higher right now, but he's still a quiet hitter in the batter's box. And you don't see a lot of, pitches that fool him. That, he might be guessing on a pitch and guesses wrong, and he's way out in front, swinging, chasing too many balls in the dirt, chasing too many balls up and out of the zone. See what he does here. 3-2 ground ball, weakly hit, second baseman. A ruse, and he's going to retire Kirilloff, who always hustles down the line, a lot like our good buddy Jake Cave. And here is Rooker. So maybe Maggi is caddying for Rooker in that, hey, I'll go out and play your defense, but you just go ahead and hit.
Unless Rooker went to right and Kepler came out maybe last inning, and so we're gonna
pay a little more attention. I think it was maybe Broxton would have gone to center if Kepler's out. And Rooker takes a curveball, punches on him.
We'll clean all this up. Stay tuned. The post-game show.
You'll clean it up. You've
all
got
this for you.
You got the top of the sixth coming up.
We got all this for you. Big post-game show coming up.
Sure. And a pitch, a curve on the corner for a strike. Let's do some notes on the outfield. I like to do the outfielders, infielders, catchers, bullpen guys every other day. And the outfielders in that, you've got your Kepler and you got your Buxton, and then you've got Jake Cave, you got Kirilloff, I got Rooker, I got Garlick, who's on the roster. Broxton non-roster in camp, big league time though. You got Celestino and then Larnick. And of course you got Refsnyder too, also non-roster. So the three non-roster guys are Broxton, Larnick, and Refsnyder. Everybody else, again, if you go with that 14-man pitching staff, somebody's going to get left out. Strike three on the corner. Painted on the outside corner. Barnes looks like he's ready for midseason. And here is Broxton. Hey, practice your Sanibel stoop while looking for unique seashells on the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. To learn more and to plan your safe trip, just go to FortMyersSanibel.com. Broxton has a homer, couple of ribbies. Hit a bomb here against the wind as Barnes delivers. Gasoline at 96 outside. Broxton went down swinging his first time up. And Barnes right back. Laid off a curve. Broxton 2019 was in 100 games. Only hit 167 with 4 homers, 16 driven in. And he struck out 104 times in 204 at bats. Strike called on the outside corner. That's 5 hits, 5 for 12 in camp. Leads the Twins, but everything's real early right now. We're not going to really dial into these guys about another week. And missed on a fastball. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 down, bases empty, 5-1. The Red Sox. Tomorrow, Twins here at Hammond Stadium take on the Atlanta Braves. And Barnes delivers. Curve. Ooh. Broxton started to leave the box, came back, And the home plate umpire, Sam Holbrook, he even kind of flinched. And Barnes is now asking the home plate umpire where it was. But I think there's some confusion there as Holbrook flinched. You don't like to see that from an umpire.
All right, I think we solved it. I think that Maggi right now is on deck. Riddle's batting, so Kepler came out of the game. So Rooker went to right the last half inning defensively. And Maggi,
Broxton in center.
Left and Broxton in center.
You got to figure it out. There's Riddle to bat as they throw over to Broxton. Broxton likes to run. Regardless of the score of the game, you're trying to see the skill set. Got a pretty good lead at first right now. As Barnes sets long, hesitation, and now delivers. And fouled back. Good cut there by J.T. Riddle. Singled his first time up. He's 2 for 8 in camp so far. Matt Shoemaker started for Minnesota. Solid 4 innings. Just 3 hits, had 1 strikeout. Rodriguez on the Red Sox side. And this pitch is low. He went a solid 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run. Didn't walk anybody, had 6 strikeouts. Also scheduled a pitch, Robles, Hamilton, St. Smeltzer. I think Smeltzer might be done, just 1 inning. And a ground ball that's going to be fielded by the first baseman, steps on the bag and retires Riddle. Twins lead 1. We've completed 5. And it is the Boston Red Sox 5, Twins 1. You're listening to Twins Baseball. Well, back at Hammond Stadium, 5-1. Boston over the Minnesota Twins. And I'm going to hand it back to my partner. It's Corey Provis.
All right, Danny, thank you. Stream every regular season game live or on demand with MLB.tv online or on your favorite supported device. Receive select spring training games as well. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Check out MLB.tv for details. Smeltzer back out after 28 pitches in the 5th. Deals a strike on Rafael Devers to begin the Red Sox 6th. Ground ball cued off the mound, up the middle to his left goes Riddle. From the first base side of second, on his feet throws out Devers. And that is out number 1. So looking at the Twins right now defensively, it is Maggi in left, Broxton in center, and Rooker in right. And we'll talk more about that when we come back, because Rocco's going to make a pitching change as Smeltzer is going to leave after facing the lefty Devers. And now it looks like the righty Ian Hamilton will come in. We'll talk about Ian when we come back in the 6th inning. Bases empty, 1 out. Red Sox batting leading 5-1. This is Minnesota Twins baseball. Twins 1. Pitching for the Twins, right-hander Ian Hamilton, who is on for the 3rd time, and his 3rd outing will be against the same teams he has already faced. These Red Sox last season with the White Sox. Hamilton appeared in 4 games, just 4 innings. He walked 5, struck out 4. He was once ranked as a top relief prospect across Major League Baseball, and he injured his shoulder in a car accident back in 2019. And then while in the minors, he was struck in the face by a line drive. He needed 5 surgeries, an extensive rehab to come back. He was waived by Chicago in September, claimed and waived twice before landing with the Twins, who waived him again. This time got him through waivers to open up a 40-man roster spot not too long ago. And we were discussing during the commercial break, with Kepler, anything to him no longer being in the game, and the rest of the regulars are still out there. And we just got a report that Max fouled a pitch off of his calf and left the game for precautionary reasons. That's why Kepler only had a few innings defensively and 2 at-bats. 5-1 Red Sox, 6th inning, as Arroyo steps in, takes outside ball 1. Arroyo was 1 for 2, a single, and he's bounced out to short. Still Donaldson, Riddle, Polanco, and Kirilloff around the infield. Garver behind the plate. Hamilton wears number 44. From the belt, and the 1-0 pitch is just high at 95. So four-seam fastball, low to mid-90s, slider low to mid-80s is what Hamilton features. For more about some of the new names in the Twins bullpen, Aaron Gleeman, Dan Hayes, who cover the Twins, do a fantastic job for The Athletic. Had a great profile of a few different guys trying to make the team. Smash up the middle on the ground and through. Base hit. 2-0 swinging. Fastball ready was Arroyo. And the former first-round pick has a two-hit day. Red Sox by 4 in the 6th inning. Devin Smeltzer going to still get some work into the bullpen down the left field line. Devin had a rough 5th inning. Gave up 4 runs. A couple of walks, a strikeout. Big blow was a 3-run homer from Marwin Gonzalez, who has homered twice today from both sides of the plate.
Yeah, that inning there where he got the first 2 batters out, then walked 2 batters, and then also got ahead of Marwin Gonzalez. No balls and 2 strikes. Made a mistake.
Here's Michael Chavis. Takes outside for a ball. Chavis has good power. 18 homers in 2019. He's a former first-round pick. Hit 5 homers last year. Will strike out. Red Sox really like Bobby Dahlbeck at first base. He's not playing today. Red Sox by 4. And the pitch, a swing and a bouncer foul back behind the plate. Twins won yesterday. Beat the Rays 6-2. Jose Barrios was magnificent in that game. Fastball velocity was clocked as high as 97. Strikeouts piled up for Jose. And the 1-1, a swing and a fly ball into left, playable. Maggi in, now back a couple of steps. He'll make a cap-high catch. Retreating back to first, Arroyo. For Chavis. As Hamilton got inside enough on Chavis. Flies out to left, 2 down. 5-1 Red Sox, 6th inning. And now the catcher, Kevin Plawecki. And Plawecki, he'll be the backup to Christian Vasquez.
You know, you were talking about the velocity that Barrios was showing yesterday. He said he didn't really know it till he came into the dugout, and then somebody had mentioned to him that he was touching that 97-mile-an-hour mark, but I guess he threw 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, all up at that high velocity mark.
Hamilton misses down low. Slider ball 1. Offensively, Willians Astudillo had a couple of hits. Doubled, walked. He drove in 2 runs. Barrios, he went 3 innings, no runs, a hit, a walk, struck out 4. Red Sox by 4, 6th inning, 1 on, 2 out. Righty to righty, and the 1-0 pitch swung on, fouled back off the screen. Plawecki, a Big Ten guy, went to Purdue. First round pick by the Mets in 2012. Should have about 2,400 or so here today. Hamilton looks back over his left shoulder, keeping tabs of Arroyo at first. With 2 outs, Red Sox 5, Twins 1, 6th inning. And the 1-1 is outside. Fastball at 94 away.
We keep talking about how comfortable it is with the fans here. And it starts as soon as you drive into the ballpark here. And that, you know, the guys are out there. They're waving us in, glad to see us. You come through the security here. You get your temperature taken. Everybody is just so upbeat. And even the guys working the gates, they're glad to see fans come through here.
Shift is on. 3 on the left side of second base. And the 2-1 pitch, slider on the ground left side to his left. Riddle, glove spins, on target throw, good play to retire Plawecki for out number 3. Red Sox get a hit, don't score, leave 1. We have completed 5.5 from Hammond Stadium. Twins coming up, trailing 5-1. This is Minnesota Twins baseball. A couple of defensive changes for the Red Sox. Twins batting in the home 6th, trailing 5-1. Matt Barnes is back out throwing his second inning of work. Jarren Duran is now in center. And the 1-0 to Maggi. Fastball strike at 93 taken. So Duran in center. New third baseman is Chad De La Guerra. First at bat for Maggi. The spot vacated by Kepler. Left the game after fouling a pitch off his calf as Maggi sends one foul. I was hoping we'd see that Kepler-Barnes matchup because that's a memorable matchup for Max. Kepler's first home run in his big league career was a walk-off shot to center field off Matt Barnes. Back in 2016, it was the 10th inning, game-winning blast to center. And then I think the next year, Joe Mauer hit a walk-off homer off Matt Barnes. The 1-2 is down low. Now to the bullpen, left center field.
Yeah, that was dramatic. Joe Mauer, classic.
Never doubted that Joe would do that at any point.
I got proof. I bring it down to spring training with me. I tape it up on my little partition here. Very proud of that.
And the 2-2 pitch, a swing and a foul hung on to by the catcher, and that's a strikeout. Second strikeout for Barnes. So 1 out, 6th inning. Twins are down 5-1. Well, the Twins are planning for the safe return of fans to Target Field. And there is a season ticket plan for every schedule. From the flex plan to a 20, 40, or full season plan, season ticket holders get priority access this season. For more information, text Twins to 20123. That's 20123. Or visit twinsbaseball.com/season tickets for more information. Matt Barnes is done for the day. He has reached his pitching number, so Alex Cora will make a move. We'll talk about the new Red Sox pitcher when we come back. Twins batting in the 6th, down 5-1, 1 out, bases empty on your home for Twins baseball. Alongside the Fresno State Hall of Famer, Danny Gladden, Corey Provis from Hammond Stadium. Red Sox lead 5-1. 6th inning, Josh Taylor, new pitcher for the Red Sox. 28 years old from Phoenix, Arizona. Debuted in 2019, 52 games with Boston, had 8 last year. ERA was over 9. Red Sox defensively, Marcus Wilson in left, Duran in center, Geddes in right. Arauz at second with Chavis at first. Arroyo at short, De La Guerra at third. And there is a new catcher. Donaldson bounces back to the mound weekly. Taylor will glove, spin, throw high, but pulled down by Chavis. And that's out number 1. Cole Cottom is now catching as Plawecki is done. So Taylor throws 1 pitch, retiles Donaldson, now 1 for 3. Josh's day is likely complete. And that'll bring up Nelson Cruz, 0 for 2. Double play ball and a strikeout looking. So among active players, Nelson Cruz, 4th most home runs among active players entering the season. Trailing Pujols, Cabrera. Now Encarnacion is ahead of Nelson, but we don't think that Edwin has signed with any team yet. And the 1-0 pitch, a swing and a miss.
So then if he's not signed with anybody, he's not active.
Encarnacion with the White Sox last year was not brought back. Encarnacion 424 career home runs. And again, Cruz at 417. 2 balls and a strike on Nelly. Red Sox lead 5-1. Set to play 8 innings today in the Florida sunshine. And the 2-1, a smash in the ground to third, but right at De La Guerra. Fields cleanly, throws in time. Out number 3, solid contact, but hit right at the defender. And Taylor comes in, retires 2 on back-to-back ground ball out. 7th inning upcoming. Red Sox batting, leading 5-1 on your home for Twins baseball. Set to begin the top half of the 7th. From Hammond Stadium, Red Sox 5, Twins 1. Twins make a bunch of changes defensively. Let's handle the infield first. But first, let's tell you about the new pitcher. It is Hansel Robles. Signed as a free agent, former Angel. So Robles is on to work for the 4th time so far, 3 innings. He's allowed 2 earned runs, a walk, and a strikeout. Red Sox lead by 4 as Michael Geddes will step in for the Red Sox. Jorge Polanco still in the game at second base, but with a shift on right now, Polanco playing on the third base side of second and stationed out almost on the grass in left center. And the first pitch is a swinging foul strike, hung on to by the new catcher Hamilton. Well, let's head down to the Twins dugout right now. Special guest, fresh off playing at first base today, homering in his first at bat today off a lefty. And Rodriguez, always great to catch up with Alex Kirilloff. Has the headset on inside the dugout. Alex, is Corey and Danny upstairs? How are you?
Good. How are you? What's up, Corey?
Everything is fine. How about for you?
I'm doing well. Just enjoying this beautiful day outside and enjoying playing baseball.
Well, this is home, right? I mean, this is a beautiful day, but for you, this is normal, right? You live down here.
Yeah, we do. So we get to spend our off seasons down here, and it's hard to beat the weather here in the off season too. So we enjoy it.
1-1 is a strike. Slider from Robles. Now, because I was explaining this earlier, because this is home for you, you got a chance to work out and prepare here at the complex, right? And when did that start?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to do that. It started probably early January, and I was able to come in and work with Edgar Varela, our hitting coach, a lot. And it's just nice for me. It has everything I need here as far as a gym to get my workouts in, cages, field to do defensive work and everything, so it works out nicely.
And what were you and Edgar focusing in on specifically?
We worked a good bit on, for me, just focusing on getting some carry and backspin to right field. I've top spin, balls at times before, so I've just been working on getting some carry to right field. That was one of our focuses.
Geddes strikes out looking, so 1 down, 7th inning. Red Sox lead 5-1. Robles facing Marcus Wilson, who's been on twice, a walk, a single, and a run. He swings and misses off speed from Robles, 0-1.
Alex, Danny Gladden here. Have you made any drastic adjustments? Your hands a little bit. I was talking to Corey a little bit about how quiet you seem to be in the batter's box. Not a lot of movement, but still you get in that good low position.
Yeah, so this spring so far, today one of my focuses was just to kind of slow down. I've just been thinking a lot. I think, my first handful of at-bats. So today, in the last couple of days, I've just been trying to get in a good rhythm and just kind of, keep it simple and slow down a little bit.
Kevin, pretty simple jumping on that first pitch. Any scouting report there that said first pitch fastball to you?
No, it was actually a slider. I had faced him shoot probably 2 years ago in 18 when he was rehabbing a handful of at-bats on backfield. So I've seen him before, and I was just trying to be aggressive and get a good pitch to hit.
I looked up those numbers in 18. You were healthy. That was pre-wrist issues, and your numbers against left-handed pitching were phenomenal. And you saw the lefty in Rodriguez today. A 1-2 count on Wilson. Red Sox 5, Twins 1 here in the 7th inning with 1 out, and the pitch is strike 3 call. Came down it inside at 96. Good velocity there from Robles. So back-to-back strikeouts, both looking. And there are 2 down. You were saying to Danny, Alex, a moment ago that a lot has been on your mind Is some of that making the team? Have you been pressing at times? Is that something that has been going on between your ears?
I'd be lying if I said maybe a little bit, but, early spring, a lot of times I just, you go a whole off season without playing 5-6 months. So I've had a tendency to just try to, think of everything that I need to do at bat sometimes early on in the season. And, that kind of just clutters my mind. And, I'm working those adjustments out now. I'm just trying to keep it simple, like I said. But, mostly it's just an early season thing. You haven't played in 5-6 months. You kind of, you're trying to make sure everything's working right and trying to get everything clicking. And, that's when sometimes you're just thinking about too much.
Strike two swinging on Cole Cottom. So quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. This might be a better question for one of your teammates, specifically from your minor league days. But do you ever get mad? Like if you're in a funk, which I know are rare, because we hear you talk as mellow as it gets, but do you get mad during the season?
I think I play with a little bit of aggression, or play well with a little bit of aggression, but I try not. I just try to stay even keeled. Good or bad results. That's when I'm at my best. So.
All right, well said. As Robles strikes out the side, a dominant 1-2-3, 7th inning. Alex, thank you for the time. Great to catch up, and all the best in the coming days and weeks.
No problem. Thank you.
We thank Alex Kirilloff, a home run today and 2 at-bats, and Robles, a 1-2-3 7th. The Twins coming up bottom, sailing, trailing 5-1. This is Twins Baseball. Our thanks to Alex Kirilloff. Great to catch up with him. And a good day today at first base, a home run. The only Twins run. 5-1 Red Sox, bottom 7. Jorge Polanco will have a 3rd at bat. He's 1 for 2. He has singled and struck out as he pulls a ground ball just foul past 3rd. But the canter there from Kirilloff stood out there, Danny, in the sense that we asked him, and his numbers coming in, he was 2 for 14, 5 strikeouts. And he mentioned that he's been thinking a lot if making the team, if that's been on his mind. He said, I'd be lying if I said no. And that's honest to hear. Line to left towards the line. That's going to hook foul again from Polanco.
I think you talk to any player that might be in his position, and that is on the cusp of, becoming a regular big league player. It's not like Kirilloff is going to make this club and then come up and sit on the bench. You think that, he's in a position to where his bat plays every day. And the fact that he can play some left field and first base, that adds just more value to him to make this ball club.
1-2 is in the dirt, buried in block, no swing. Polanco 2-2.
But Corey, every player, a young player, they go home and share the information with, maybe a family member, another teammate. And yes, I didn't play good today. Okay, is that going to count against me? What are the coaches thinking? Yeah, you put some thoughts in your head that, like you said, he just wanted to flush them out and relax a little bit today, and he did just that. 2-2 is low, full count. Catcher Hamilton on deck. I think it's human nature to be a young player. I promise you, Nelson Cruz, Sano, Donaldson, Polanco, guys like that don't have that thought process. They're just trying to get their comfortable at bats, and they see the long picture, and that is, hey, start the season up.
Ground ball speared right on top of the mound by Taylor. He'll lob high to first base for the out. On the ground hit sharply, but Taylor made a good play. And that's the first out before Hamilton bats. Let's step out. 10 seconds for station identification from Fort Myers. You're listening to Twins Baseball. '79, beautiful day. 79 degrees. Beautiful day here in Fort Myers. Caleb Hamilton skies one to shallow center. Sunglasses on for Duran. He'll move to his right and grab it above his cap for the out. So quickly 2 outs.
Okay, just to finish up on some of the thoughts that Kirilloff was talking about, and that was, I think every young player might have some of those thoughts. They want to make the club. Let your talent do the talking.
Alex Cora is going to do some talking, make a pitching change, and we'll step out. 2 down. Red Sox have a new arm coming in the home 7th. Red Sox 5, Twins 1. This is Twins baseball. Red Sox 5, Twins 1, 2 down, bottom 7. Colton Brewer is the new pitcher for the Red Sox, on for the first time today, but they threw in 11 games last year. He is the 4th Red Sox pitcher used by Cora today. We are back here tomorrow. Another simulcast. Michael Pineda on the mound. Twins and the Braves. Atlanta has a really good-looking team. Again this summer, it'll be a simulcast. Treasure Island Baseball Network, Fox Sports North. Starting at noon Central Time. Xander Wheel will bat. First AB for the Twins first baseman today. Strike. Another thought too on Kirilloff and about making the team. Remember, the AAA season is a month delayed, so the AAA season will not begin until May. So breaking ball misses low. And the Twins will have still 28 players, roughly 28 players over in St. Paul, the alternate site. Was the case last year. That will be the AAA, of course, home of the Twins, but come May. But at that alternate site, there's no guarantee the games will be played as Wheel pops it up infield right side. Chavis and Arauz come in. Chavis, first baseman, off the line. He has it. And that's the inning. We'll talk more about that when we come back. We will have an 8th inning. Red Sox batting leading 5-1 on your home for Twins baseball. Young Twins pitching arms that they like at Cantarino and Winder. And now we're seeing another one right now in Jordan Balazovic. The guy that was added to the 40-man roster this offseason. Fastball can touch 96, 97. Good depth on his changeup. Has a hard curve, low to mid-80s. And that changeup has really come a long way. A guy that was invited to throw at the alternate site in St. Paul late last season. And now getting a chance to see this young man, and the Twins have high hopes with him. Canadian, 6'5", 215. Balazovic, 5th round pick in 2016. In 2019, combined at 2 levels, low A and high A, including some time here in Fort Myers with the then Miracle at 14 starts at an ERA in the mid-2s. Tzu-Wei Lin is now into the game defensively at 3rd, but he shifts over on the right side of the diamond. Jonathan Arauz is the hitter for the Red Sox, who lead 5-1 here in the 8th inning. As Balazovic comes home, fastball that's taken down at inside at 92. That's a 2-ball, no strike count. But Danny, just to finish up that thought on Kirilloff, it's one thing in normal years, non-pandemic years, that you may hear a front office say, yeah, we wanted him to go down and get some work. Arauz sends one high and deep to right center. But it's playable for Rooker in the sun. He'll come in a few steps. Sunglasses on, he's got it. And Arauz flies out to right one down. But remember, at the alternate side is going to be, and they may play a couple of exhibition games against, some of the other nearby big league teams, but that's not locked in yet. So in the case of Kirilloff, if you're going to send him down, are you doing so to get him some work? He's going to take BP, but instead of playing,
he's going to take a month away from what they're doing down here in spring training, and that is playing competitive baseball down here during spring training.
Martinez bats as he grounds one to 3rd, and that's played by Blankenhorn. 2 down. 5-1 Red Sox 8th inning.
And it's not just Kirilloff, it's going to be the whole team that's going to be up there in St. Paul that will, you're still practice. It's almost like going back to pre-spring training to where you just work on drills. To be able to play some games would be a huge bonus. But to leave spring training here and then have guys like a Kirilloff all of a sudden take a month off of competing.
So 2 up, 2 down, 8th inning, 5-1 Red Sox. And a strike called. Good off-speed pitch there from Balazovic.
You know, and there's going to be multiple players that are like that are right on what we call the bubble. You know, they had a great spring. They should make it, but you know, sometimes you hate to hear the word, oh, the numbers got him. That's not fair. He's either playing, he fits in your club, you want him on your club, he's got to roll with your club, and therefore make room for him.
No balls and 2 strikes. That was a changeup that Balazovic just threw at 88 miles an hour. Where's number 81 here in Grapefruit League play? Twins down by 4, 8th inning. 0-2 count, and the pitch is just inside at 91. And now a 1-2 count. Talking with the Twins farm director Alex Hassan before camp began. Where are the Twins strong? He said starting pitching throughout the organization, and Balazovic a big part of that. And the 1-2 off speed outside. And a 2-2 count now. Conversely, where are the Twins a little thin right now throughout their organization? He said, honestly, probably middle infield. And that took a hit with Royce Lewis, being lost for the season with a torn ACL. 5-1 Red Sox, 8th inning, 2 down, and the 2-2 down and away. Change up again, 88, ball 3.
Well, you've got Nick Gordon, who has been in the system for a while, and you know, he might be one of those guys that is going to get a lot of playing time or a good look this spring training.
3-2 count. With the 8th inning, Twins down 4, and the pitch is swinging a fly ball left center field. It's deep, but in the ballpark, and it's going to be the left fielder Maggi, shy of the warning track, and fairly deep left center makes the play, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Jordan Balazovic. Twins coming up, last chance, bottom 8, trailing 5-1 on your home for Twins baseball. May not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins. Last half inning set to play 8. Twins batting bottom 8, trailing 5-1. Brent Rooker 0 for 2 strikeouts. Great to see him back after his season ended last year with a broken bone in his forearm. Rooker a breaking ball strike. And Brent looked good in 7 games with the bat. 6 out of 19, a home run, drove in 5. And the 0-1, swing and a miss, strike 2.
He's another guy that I'm going to put on that little shelf there that the coaching staff, front office, is going to have to make a good long look at him, because he's got right-handed pop, and you know, he could be that revolving door. You know, Rosario left. That opened up an opportunity for Kirilloff and also Rooker, or both.
Don't forget Jake Cave, of course, as well.
That Jake Cave's going to, but he's so good at just bouncing around everywhere.
Jake Cave had a really good, strong defensive year last year. Really improved that part of his game. And the 1-2 is outside, 94 on the radar gun. So still Colton Brewer pitching.
Yeah, we had kind of looked at the roster. Did we go to Milwaukee, no DH? And, you know, you kind of look at the bench players and say, okay, anybody in this lineup that you're going to pinch hit for?
Ground ball to third, towards the hole, and off the glove of the diving shortstop Downs. That ball ricochets off the sidewall down the left field line. That was well struck on the ground in the hole, but plenty on it. You see the gain speed with the topspin.
Curry, you always hear the hitters talk about getting that good backspin. That's good topspin right there. By the time it hit that dirt out there, it picked up speed.
I'm going double.
I did.
Come on, Nina.
Oh, shoot. The guy left his feet, Nina. Come on.
Come on, Nina. That's a double.
Yep. She'll get it.
Gilberto Celestino on the 40-man roster. The more we see this guy play, the more we like. Still very young. As he takes outside ball one, Celestino came from the Astros, the Ryan Pressly trade a few seasons back. And a 1-0 pitch, and that's a strike. That Ryan Pressly trade, the Twins were in Boston when that happened a few years ago, and we wondered why Twins, I think they eventually lost the game in a Mookie Betts walk-off home run off Matt Belisle. And we were thinking at the time, why not pitch Pressly here at some point in this game? Well, it turned out that the trade for Pressly that happened during the game with the Astros, in fact, the Twins did call Houston and say, hey, if needed, we have worked out the deal, but if needed, can Ryan pitch for us tonight? And they said, no. We've already agreed to the deal that do not pitch him tonight, and announce it, and the trade was announced after the game. But that's why Pressly never threw in that game.
Yeah, you'll see that a lot of times in that, hey, why isn't he playing? You know, and there might be some communication going on with a couple of clubs. We want to keep him out of the game here. We don't want to make a trade and have him get hurt.
Smack to left center field in the alley, and that ball will trail over the head of Marcus Wilson and find the wall. Rooker scores. Celestino will make second base. Close play. He slides in safely, an RBI double. It's a 5-2 game. And I'll tell you what, the Twins have something there in Gilberto Celestino. That dude can just hit. Another line drive, another extra base hit, and the Twins are down by 3.
Celestino going to be attended here by the trainer, and I'm sure on that slide there, it's a wrist, or they twisted the ankle a little bit.
Yeah, Celestino kind of fixing the pant leg on his right ankle. So we watch Celestino.
Kind of a close play
his case
at second base, in that the first baseman, he trailed Celestino. He had to hustle at the last minute. And kind of, am I going to slide? Am I not going to slide?
Some kind of a late slide, and maybe jammed a foot or an ankle in there at the base, and he's trying to run around a little bit with Matt Biancuzzo, part of the Twins training staff, and Rocco Baldelli is going to go out there as well. But yeah, Gilberto is going to try to stay in this game, but Rocco is one that he doesn't take too many chances, and Celestino is going to come out, and a pinch runner is going to run for Celestino, but Gilberto is running off the field on his own, so hopefully he just kind of jammed it, but he hopefully is going to be all right. So Spencer Steer, Danny, is the pinch runner.
You know, and credit Rocco, because it's a spring training game, and you know, be cautious here in a situation like that. Don't force it. Get some treatment there. Let the trainers get inside and evaluate what happened.
Andrew Romine will bat for the first time today. A late add to the Twins roster here in camp. Checks the swing. It's a high strike. On a fastball at 93. Romine 2019 was in the Phillies organization, AAA Lehigh Valley. Long-time Detroit Tiger. And the 1-1 is inside. And Romine, he pulled a Cesar Tovar. Remember that? He played every position. He pitched.
Did that against us.
Against the Twins late.
And I think that was the same time. Didn't Marnie also
Same night, the great Marnie Gellner was broadcasting, was directing, producing.
She did
everything.
Different things. You need talent to be able to do that.
2-1, swing and a miss. And now a 2-2 count. Red Sox. Steer at second base. Nobody out. And the 2-2, strike 3 called. Romine looking for something else. He got a fastball at 94. Could not pull the trigger. So 1 out. First strikeout for Brewer. And the batter is going to be Drew Maggi, his second at bat. Maggi came in early for Max Kepler, who fouled a pitch off his calf and was removed for precautionary reasons. If you missed the news earlier, Byron Buxton had some dental work done on Monday. And so he has not been in the lineup the last few days. Queued up the first base line and rolls foul off the end of the bat. And it's an 0-1 count on Maggi. So Byron, the dental procedure, he said he bit into a steak and part of his tooth broke off. And had that procedure on Monday. Took some swings in the cage today. Will face some live hitting tomorrow, hopefully in the lineup against Tampa Bay on Saturday. The 0-1 pitch, a high drive, deep left field. Wilson back at the track, at the wall. That is gone. A home run for Maggi. And this is a one-run game. So a cool moment for Drew Maggi with an 8th inning. 2-run shot, and the Twins are down by only 1. It's a 5-4 game. Yeah, Maggi back in 2019 with AAA Rochester and AA Pensacola. Hit 11 home runs. High on base percentage throughout his minor league career, and showing some pop on the berm and left. And now Travis Blankenhorn bats with 1 out, bases empty in a 5-4 game. Pitching coach and former big league pitcher himself, Dave Bush, came out to check on Colton Brewer. So one former Brewer, Milwaukee Brewer, checked on another Brewer in Colton Brewer. How about that? I've been working on that all day.
Yeah, I bet you have. Go home and you think of these things, you create them, and you get a chance to segue it in here. Here it is.
There you go. 1-1 count on Blankenhorn, and the pitch, swing and a miss, fooled badly on a spiked breaking ball. And Blankenhorn kind of knew that he offered it, that one, when he should not have. A disgruntled facial expression after that empty cut. 5-4 Red Sox, 1 out, and the pitch, he got him, strike 3. So Blankenhorn off speed from Brewer. So Blankenhorn is out, number 2, and now it's going to be up to Tomas Telis. 2 down, 8th inning, final inning, and the Red Sox lead 5-4. Telis, AAA Rochester, 82 games, 8 home runs, hit .330 that year. And the pitch is a strike. Now, Telis, he was over in St. Paul last season at the alternate site. And the 0-1 drops low. Tomas has some big league time. The Twins opted to go with Astudillo, Garver, and Jeffers behind the plate last year. The 1-1 in tight at 93. Now 2-1 count. Telis, tough to strike out. Non-roster invite. Strike 2 called. A high strike at 94.
Crowd still digging it. They got a base runner on here. You got Lynn up. Maybe he can walk it off.
Telis has to reach the 2-2 count, and the pitch, a swing and a foul back, fought off. Off-speed pitch from Brewer, off the net. Will be Twins third base dugout. Michael Pineda will throw tomorrow. We'll have that for you here from Hammond Stadium, a simulcast against the Atlanta Braves. Noon start. 2-2, ball 3. Outside. So Brewer is up to 30 pitches. Red Sox have a righty up in their bullpen. Here we go. 2 outs. Bases empty. Down 1. And the 3-2 pitch. And that's line slicing foul past the Twins bullpen. Down the left field line. Again, the 3-2. Strike three called on a breaking ball, and Tellez strikes out looking, and the Red Sox win the game 5-4 in 8. Now, Matt Shoemaker, with his second start, he threw well. 4 innings, gave up a run, struck out a man, a couple of hits. Devin Smeltzer gave up 4. Marwin Gonzalez had a big day against his former team. Had 2 home runs. He drove in 4. And the Red Sox win the game 5-4. Twins are 5-5. Red Sox improved to 5-5. Danny Gladden, takeaways from this one today.
Well, you take away just that one inning, the 5th inning. I think that a whole different ball game here. But pitchers right now seem to be kind of getting dialed in. We're getting some length out of them. Shoemaker was outstanding here today. At the same time, Red Sox Rodriguez. You like to see good pitching like that, because also now what you're seeing is you'll see guys getting multiple at-bats against the same pitcher, and that's something that hitters want to do rather than, hey, every at-bat's somebody new out there. Don't get in a real good pattern. Don't get to get an idea of what they're featuring out there. So you're looking for a little consistency. Twins, some strikeouts here today, but all in all, made it interesting here at the end. We'll come back. You got the big guy Michael Pineda going tomorrow.
Back-to-back. You ready? Get your rest. Tomorrow we'll be here ready to go.
Absolutely.
Back-to-back.
Day game.
We will have a day game tomorrow. Red Sox win at 5-4. We'll step out one last time. Total summaries next on your home for Twins baseball.